Well, as you are aware, over the past several days, Elon Musk has been doing a Twitter dump. He has been dumping all types of internal files, working with certain members of, shall we say, alternative media to expose what was done at Twitter before he arrived, before he bought it, before he took over, before he took the shackles off. In particular, what led up to the banning of Donald Trump and everything that Trump alleged, everything that Trump said that he was called a conspiratorial loon and that he was just self absorbed and lying. It all turns out to be absolutely 100% correct. Makes you wonder about a certain event that happened in 2020 that you're not allowed to talk about on YouTube and other social media platforms. Otherwise, you get censored, banned, and removed. Makes you wonder when we're finally going to be told, yeah, that was right too. But, we can't mention what that was because, after all, that's not permissible, even though they say there's no actual censorship going on. Okay, that said, Elon Musk has now, of course, the libloon world has gone insane. And what I find absolutely incredible about this, when I was a kid, back in the, late 60s, 70s, liberals really were all about, quote unquote, freedom, man. Freedom of speech, man. I need to have like my say, and I don't want my speech bridled. George Carlin in his political comedy, The Seven Things You Can't Say on Television. And there was this big push on that we needed to be able on media platforms and in public, basically, we cannot bridle free speech. That was classic liberalism. Fast forward to now, and what we're dealing with is liberals are now incensed that there is free speech. They're now calling free speech an attack on democracy. And if you're like me, I don't care right now if you're on the left or the right, but if you're like me and you are looking at things post pandemic, I mean, it is a totally different America. It is just, we're still seeing people walking around, wearing the hat, the face mask, even though they don't have to, they still are. And this whole idea of giving up freedom, and it happened so quickly and so easily. And some of these people, they're just incensed that some of us would declare things like personal liberty and push back on this. But now we're seeing this rooting for and wanting censorship. This 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 idea that somehow limiting speech, especially the stuff that you don't like, is really what we have to do to protect democracy. And you hear people throw these things out, and you think, well, this is ludicrous. This is insane. Nobody's going to buy that argument. And Shazam, Batman, they buy the argument. I mean, to me, all bets are off following the midterm elections. I mean, Pennsylvania elected a guy who is mentally impaired, and even after it was brought to light just how absolutely mentally impaired he is, they voted for him anyway. I mean, this is just incredible to me. And so I really do see that Ronald Reagan once said that he never lost faith in his optimism in America for Americans to do the right thing. I don't know that I share Ronald Reagan's sentiment. I just don't. And I haven't for years because, in my estimation, I never underestimate people's ability to do the stupid thing. And some people are stuck on stupid, and they really do seem to be on the left side of the aisle. And I'm not making this a Democrat versus Republican thing or even a classic liberal versus conservative thing. But there are people on the left who have been programmed to literally just line up now and do whatever Big Brother tells them. especially if Big Brother happens to have a D next to their name. If they're a Democrat, why? We don't have to question anything. We don't have to hit pause on anything. We just do it. Why? Because we're protecting the environment. We're standing 60 feet apart from each other because we're protecting each other. We're getting double, triple, quadruple jab with love potion number 9 because that's what we have to do. And anybody that doesn't do those things is a racist, a bigot, a xenophobe, homophobe, a thisophobe, a thatophobe, and a vaxophobe. It's just mind-blowing, the total flip. There was a time that it was the conservative side of the aisle that was, for military intervention. It was, for what we would call let's get tough out there, and now it's the conservatives backing up saying, why are we in a proxy war with Russia over in Ukraine? Why are we fighting an endless war in the Middle East? What's that all about? And it's now again this complete flip where you're hearing people on the left side of the aisle, pro, Ukraine to the point, yeah, man, let's go bomb Russia. Wait, what? Really? You want to flirt around with nuclear war? Is this what I'm hearing? Well, Elon Musk over the weekend tweeted out that he was changing his personal pronouns to prosecute Fauci. Love it, love it, love it. And of course, the libloons immediately went into meltdown mode. Now remember, we get this cancel culture, and I explained this a few days ago. This is a carryover from college. 10 years ago, when college kids across America were protesting conservatives that were being invited onto their campuses to speak. College campuses, which are supposed to reflect diverse thought and ideas, and we certainly know as conservatives that there are a whole lot of people that speak and get paychecks from colleges across this country that spew everything from, atheism to Marxism. And all types of, deviant ideas. And, they teach without hindrance, without pause, without problem. And so there are conservative groups among college young people. There are young conservatives, and they would invite on, Ann Coulter or Ben Shapiro with his nasally, whiny voice. And, I wouldn't go to those things, but, these groups, they invite them in to speak. They rent one of the halls, whatever they have to do, to follow the procedure. And could the liberals just say, no, we're not going to go to that event? No. They went into meltdown mode. They protested. They set their libraries on fire on campuses. They did havoc and destruction to make sure that the universities, did not allow Ann Coulter to come there and speak or Ben Shapiro to come there and speak. And these universities began to cave. You couldn't have the conservatives, the Glenn Becks, come onto the campuses and talk. Now, any far-out libloon, which is probably where we got the whole, drag queens coming out and talking about, it would just be awesome if we could just, get to kids because kids are easy to reprogram, and then we could just end all prejudice if they would just let us diddle, fiddle, and read stories to kids. It would be awesome. And college kids heard that in lectures and thought, yeah! Well, all those college kids that were protesting and burning down buildings on college campuses 10 years ago, if a conservative came on to speak, they're now out among us. They're elected officials. They work in managerial positions in big tech. They have taken jobs as teachers in classrooms, as administrators over schools. This is why we have this just absolute insanity that has overtaken the planet. And it's all self-destructive, and it will all destroy, literally, what makes America America. But Elon Musk tweets out that his new preferred pronouns are prosecute Fauci. And of course, the libloons went into meltdown mode. You're attacking a group of people that are already marginalized and subject to violence. Oh, please. Please, please. I love it because apparently he's getting together documents that are going to start showing Fauci was in it up to his eyeballs with cover-up, knowing where this came from, how it happened, gain of function, Get ready, get ready, get ready. And of course, this is why liberals in Congress are trying to move quickly to stop Elon. After all, he's emboldening Trump, and now he's going after St. Fauci. You can't go after St. Fauci. No, 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 not St. Fauci. And what we need are more and more people within the medical and scientific communities to start coming forward and start talking about the real Anthony Fauci. Jimmy Dore did an incredible interview today. If you haven't watched it, you've got to get to the Jimmy Dore channel and you got to watch it. Now, the guy he interviewed, he'd be considered a liberal. He votes Democrat. He's gotten the ouchie, but he understands that Fauci has lied and has acted criminally. And it's an amazing and Jimmy Dore has been on this for months. Some of us have been on it from the beginning. Jimmy Dore was a little late to the party. He got there. He got there after he got injured himself. And now I'm glad he's able to say what he says, because if I say anything even close to what Jimmy says on YouTube, I get taken down. I get penalized. I've been in YouTube prison so many times. But I'm glad Jimmy is able to get out there. So you got to watch the interview that Jimmy Dore did today. But Elon Musk is dropping all the hints that he is about to expose St. Fauci. And good. This is a maniacal man, and I don't say this lightly, even as a pastor, and I know that what I'm about to say, it upsets people, because a pastor's not supposed to speak this way, but I want hell to be 100 times hotter for Anthony Fauci. Now, of course, as a pastor, we hold out that, he will seek repentance and forgiveness and redeem himself and come forward and tell us the truth. But in the off chance that he's just convinced that because he is science and he is so incredibly arrogant and full of himself that he's not going to repent. And therefore, I got news for you, Fauci. There is coming a day when you are no longer going to be here. You are in your 80s. And there really is life after death. And I really do believe that hell is hotter for the people who have been evil to the point that they have inflicted pain and suffering upon countless millions. And that is certainly the genocidal maniac that Tony Fauci is. Through the AIDS epidemic, his so-called cure was actually what was killing, expediting the death, the painful death of AIDS patients. You haven't seen the movie Dallas Buyers Club? Watch it, watch it, watch it. You need to. You absolutely need to see it. Fauci, with his ouchie, never talking about preventive measures we could have taken. Always trying to discredit the lab leak theory. Because he did an end run and was funding something he wasn't supposed to be funding. And this is all the result of a little experimentation that went on, and Fauci knew it as early as February 2020. And because he controls the purse strings and which scientists and which universities get what grants when it comes to science, he got the medical community to go along. And it was Fauci in a casual observation of what was going on in China. We need to lock down. He pulls things literally out of his arse, makes them up. And yet he talks about studies and this and that. And when he was being grilled by the attorney generals of Missouri and Louisiana, which we didn't get to see because it wasn't televised or videoed. He was asked repeatedly, produce these studies. Produce nothing. Hundreds of times said, I can't remember. I can't remember. Yet it was his advice that became literally the law and policy. Somebody just made the comment, hell is too good for Fauci. I agree. He is a just a horrible what he put this country through. And I'm sad to say that still many people, he's a hero. He walks on water. He heals the sick and raises the dead. He's Fauci. But Elon Musk is getting ready to do another info drop. We're getting enough out there now to find out what really went on with the Hunter laptop. And you got even Democrats now saying, had this actually been out and consumable among the media, it would have absolutely changed what happened in 2020. You know about that thing we're not supposed to talk about. So it's interesting to watch all this happen. Elon Musk has certainly got everybody's attention. And even Joe Rogan is starting to sound more and more and more like a Republican. And Jimmy Dore is on his way. And all I can say is justice, either in this life or the one to come, needs to happen to Anthony Fauci.